Today, the Biden administration asked the U.S. Supreme Court to reinstate the death sentence for Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Tsarnaev was convicted for the 2013 attack that killed 3 and injured more than 200. But an appeals court last year tossed out his sentence, citing procedural errors by the judge. So now we want to bring in senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer. He was in the courtroom today. And Devin, thank you for joining us. Now, just to be clear, the Supreme Court is not deciding whether or not Tsarnaev is guilty here. They are discussing some errors in the sentencing. Can you explain what those errors are and whether or not you think the justices agree that they even matter?
Yeah, that's right, Trevor. I mean, everybody agrees that Tsarnaev was involved in the bombing. He's guilty of that. But the big dispute in this case is over a piece of evidence that the defense team says should have been presented to the jury during sentencing, mitigating evidence. And that evidence involves Dzhokhar's older brother, Tamerlan, someone who they say was involved in some prior murders in 2011. And the defense argued that those prior murders and Tamerlan's alleged involvement in them showed that he had influence over accomplices, that he was someone who indoctrinated his younger brother to commit future attacks. And they said that was a key factor that should have favored life in prison rather than execution. But the trial judge excluded that evidence. He said it was unreliable and unproven. And today, the liberal justices on the Supreme Court, Breyer, Kagan, and Sotomayor, all took a critical view of that judge's decision. They said that a jury, not a judge, should decide whether mitigating evidence has any value in a death penalty case. But the conservatives, Trevor, were highly deferential to the judge. They said this looks like it was rightly decided, and there were several indications during today's hearing, Trevor, that this sentence could be reinstated.
Of course, if the conservative judges decide that, then the decision is made. I'm curious, Devin, because there seems to be a paradox right at the very center of this, because the Biden administration has halted all federal executions. So they are asking to reinstate a death sentence when they are not carrying out death sentences. Will this even matter?
It's a fascinating question because it's been hanging over this entire case. The Biden administration, as you pointed out, in July issued a moratorium on executions. They have stopped them. They're not performing them. And President Biden, as you know, campaigned on eliminating the death penalty across the country. So today, Justice Amy Coney Barrett called that out. She asked the government attorney directly. She said, what's the point of this entire argument if you're not going to execute the prisoner? But the Justice Department attorney said that they would only take the position they believe the jury decided this properly. That should be upheld. And we asked the White House tonight, Trevor, their view on all of this. No comment.
I mean, it is perplexing, to say the least, Devin. I was just in Boston on Monday for the Boston Marathon. You cannot help, when you're by the finish line, to think about that awful day and how it impacted all of those people and the entire city. Everyone in this case is thinking about the victims and their families. Have we heard from them in the case, in the sentence?
Yeah, more than, as you said, 200 families touched, injured, 3 victims killed on that day, including, you remember, Trevor, little 8-year-old Martin Richard. Those families have long had very mixed feelings about death for Tsarnaev's. In fact, Richard's family has written op-eds recently opposing execution because of what they described as really this persistent trauma of these legal appeals going on and on and on. But several families have indicated that they support the death sentence here. They said justice requires a fight to uphold the sentence that was first imposed, and they hope the Supreme Court does just that, and we'll find out their decision later next year, Trevor.
I'm sure a lot of those families were not imagining they would be back at court 8 years after the fact. Devin Dwyer, there's no one better at cutting through the noise of the Supreme Court. Thanks for your reporting and your insights.
Thanks, Trevor.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.